Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another segment of Meet Me 360 podcast. I'm your host, Alexander Barry Kemp. I am very happy to bring to you a guest that's going to be phenomenal. All right. But Meet Me 360 is a high-class dating experience which deals with creating compatible matches, helping our clients grow in the process of mate selection. Our goal is to stimulate a fun dating experience, help our clients grow, and being able to get into the right type of relationships that helps their life to be in a better place. Now, without further ado, we have a special guest all the way from Rio de Janeiro, all the way from Brazil. Madam Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Excellent, excellent. Madam Stephanie, can you just give them a brief introduction on yourself? Let them know what you do, where you're from, just basics.
Okay, so I'm Stephanie Pereira. I am 22 years old. I'm Brazilian. I have lived in Nassau, Bahamas for a year and 4 months. And yes, that's currently I am back in my home country.
Powerful, powerful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, usually when I'm on Facebook, right, I am all about connecting with like-minded individuals or people who have that essence that reminds me of the higher lifestyle. I was scrolling and I saw this friend suggestion. I was like, Stephanie, that's pretty interesting. I just browsed through her profile. I say, hey, this young lady, I need to have on my show. I feel like she has a very elegant energy that a lot of women and people in general can learn from. And I'm sure that she has some answers to some of the questions that we have in today's society. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, before we get into it, we have top three focus points or focus topics. The first topic is going to be emotional intelligence. We're going to find out what it is, how people can use it effectively and apply it in their life. Next is how to cultivate healthy relationships. Boy, in 2025, we know people are going through a lot of destructive, chaotic, toxic relationships. We're going to dive into that. And lastly, culture and languages. And we're going to look at the how a country, how someone sees life through the eyes of a foreigner. All right. So before we get into those topics, Steph, what do you think about dating and relationships in 2025?
I think it's a big challenge. I think nowadays all of us have different ideas of what a relationship should be like. And since all of us are now connected with people from different countries, we all have different backgrounds. So, yeah, there's a lot of challenge in it.
Wow. Yes. Because I can see that many people are having an issue staying together and having healthy relationships. What do you think is one of the biggest challenges from a woman's perspective, a woman faces when it comes to being able to have a good relationship?
One of the problems, I think it doesn't come only for the women in the relationship, but I think like both, because usually when you are in a relationship, you are like a team, but sometimes you get lost in the process and you start trying to get the good of the relationship for yourself instead of trying to figure out also ways to like what you can give to the relationship as well, not just what you can take. And yeah, that's what can be the problem, you know.
Wow. Okay. So basically, we're seeing that there's a lack of what we call reciprocal relationships, meaning that there's an even give or take or consideration of
Yeah,
those give and take. Because some people, like, I guess what they say, they
yeah,
call them narcissists. It's all about that one particular person. They're not happy, so everything is spoiled. So yeah, I believe that's a
yeah,
challenge a lot of men and women are facing. But what I really understand is that I realize a lot of guys in like in my country, they're complaining that a lot of the women that they get in relationships with, they do not give any effort or put effort into relationships.
hmm,
What do you think are some of the
right.
qualities a woman should bring to a relationship?
Well, I think guys, like men, usually they are more like brain, they more like reason. They always thinking all the time about what should be done, how to do things a certain way, and they always thinking. So I think women they should bring the more emotional part of it, like bring the love, the gestures, like of appreciation, like I see you and I want to do this for you because that's what you do for me, that's what you do for us in the relationship. So I think women, they should bring this more like tender, this more loving vibe in the relationship, make the guy feel appreciated, because that's the guy, man, they cannot take that, get that from the society, their friends, like, so when they are in a relationship, they have to get that type of feeling, emotions, and love and kind gestures from the girl that they're with. That's what I think.
Wow, that's super powerful, man. I really love that because in our country, when I speak to people every day, men, women of all walks of life, and a lot of guys feel like they are not appreciated for what they do. They feel like when they do a lot of things for some women that they're in a relationship with, they they look at the things that they didn't do compared to being appreciative, saying, "Wow, thank you for doing this. Thank you for going
Right.
out your way." Because a lot of the
Yeah.
guys, even from my perspective, feel like a lot of women don't understand how much work it takes to be able to number one get them, like meet a woman,
Yeah,
be able to show up for them.
just to put a guy in the relationship is already hard work. I can say that. I think something that I have in my mind is like, I would never want to be a guy, especially because when it comes to relationships, like there's to deal with women and take care of women is so much, because you have to deal with their emotional side. You have to deal with their feelings, with everything. And it's not just like, we have certain times of the month that we are more like, all the hormones and everything. So like it's hard to have to deal with a so emotional being. And so yeah, but like something that I noticed is that, and that's talking with friends, Bahamian friends, is that the Bahamian girls, they can be a little harder to deal with. I think us Brazilians, our culture is already very warm and friendly and loving, so it's not hard for us in the relationship as Brazilians. That's not hard for us. But for Bahamians, something that I heard and noticed is like they like to be more, how can I say, like, when kids, they when they want to get something their way, they will play tantrums, or they will act some type of way and stuff. And then the guy, they have to just make sure to walk on eggshells to make sure that she's gonna be always content with him.
I agree. Listen, man, you hit the nail on the head. I know that that's going to be Martian. But there's a term, they say Martian corn. That's going to be Martian, a lot
Mhm.
of people call, but it is true because a lot of guys are facing that, and it's a widespread epidemic or pandemic that's happening in relation to that. You said it 100%. So moving right into it, what is dealing with our first topic? What is emotional intelligence? What do you define as emotional intelligence?
Well, I'm not an expert on that, but from my perspective and my opinion, I think being emotional intelligent is like being able to understand your emotions, and not just your feelings, but your thoughts and the way how you deal with it, and how you let it uh, um, affect your whole, like your what you think, what you feel, how you react and respond to things, how you gonna start like bring it out around other people, so I think it, like, to be emotionally intelligent is know how to manage all of that.
Wow, that's powerful. I'll add to that. So I'm not an expert on that at all, right? But when I look at the word emotion, usually we say E is for energy and motion is that energy and motion, meaning the direction is traveling. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, I believe that it is understanding how energy flows through us, how to direct it, and when to use it at various places or environments. So for instance, let's say you work at a restaurant, right? And you have to deliver as a waitress. I think they call it what how you say waitress in Espanol or Portuguese.
In
Carteira?
Portuguese, garçom,
Oh,
garçonete.
garçon. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So let's say you're a waitress and you're delivering to a table, and this particular guest is very obnoxious, very angry. And the thing is,
Mhm.
if you're emotionally intelligent, you know that, okay, I have to remain calm because my goal is just
Yeah,
to deliver this food. Now, if you're not emotionally
exactly.
intelligent, you will just blow up and you'll just get angry and show
Personal.
attitude. and you will
Yeah,
jeopardize the reputation of the entire business
exactly. Company, restaurant. Yeah,
because you don't
yeah,
understand that, okay, there are some people who are going to come with certain emotions, certain, I guess, certain problems that they're
yeah.
experiencing in their personal
They
life.
maybe have that day, and that's the moment that they get to bring out their frustrations, and you just happen to be there. Like the person doesn't know you, the person doesn't have anything to have against you. So whatever the person is externalizing is not you specifically. It's just whatever, however they're dealing with their emotions right now in that moment.
Yes. Yes. So being
Yeah.
emotionally intelligent means that you know, okay, I know how to handle this because the main goal is to win. The main goal is to serve
Yeah.
the client, get them to pay, and let them have a good time. Compared to, just if you are ego-centered or non-emotional intelligent, you will jeopardize that
Yeah.
whole situation, which could have led to a great experience for because of
Hmm.
lack of mental temperament. Wow.
Exactly.
Um, what do you
Yeah.
think that the role of the lack of emotional intelligence plays in a relationship?
Well, that you have to be very emotionally intelligent to be in a relationship, because there will be times that you have to let go of certain things that are gonna slide from your partner, and instead of you just being offended and like, you know what, you talking to me that way, so let me talk to you in the same way and stuff, like instead of have to go through a whole argument and spend a whole hour fighting, and like that you could just be doing anything else or enjoying yourself. So like you have to stop and think, is it let more energy to just calm down and try to understand why this person is acting that way, or is less to just freak out as well? Like you understand what I mean? Like you just have to know how to manage, because your partner sometimes will attack you because of what they having inside, and especially us as women, sometimes we don't know how to express our frustrations. Sometimes we are not even frustrated with our mate. We are frustrated with, I don't know, my makeup just finished and I have to go to that event and I cannot use that right now, and I cannot even go stop at the store to buy and go pretty with my makeup well done. So, and this guy is taking long to get ready. So now I'm gonna blow up him, and that doesn't make sense. So you have to stop and think, okay, what can I do right now? The things are getting me frustrated right now. If I throw that on him and cause a fight, is that still gonna change the fact that this thing right here is happening? Is that gonna change anything?
Wow.
So yeah, you just have to think, be rational.
That was very good. Now I know many women would find it hard to be rational, especially when the flare of emotions is and you're in that moment. But what I believe, what allows if a woman can understand the bigger picture, that like you said earlier, we're a team. We are in this together. Our goal is to communicate and make sure that each one of us can stay at ease and negotiate calmly, you know? But when we allow ourselves to get too much in emotional tantrum, we take away so much energy, that love and energy that could be used for something else, where that we could have a
Yes.
great time, you know? So, what do you think men and women can do to become more emotionally intelligent? Because we'll have to exercise that emotional intelligence muscle, you think?
Yeah, something that I think, like, one of the most important things for me in a relationship is communication. Like I am the type of person, I think, like I am pretty understanding. If you there's nothing that you can do that will make me be extremely upset with you, as long as you communicate. Like, hey, you wanted us to go and celebrate our anniversary at this nice place, but I forgot, and now we are not going anymore. But instead of just like, oh, okay, I forgot, but so now I'm gonna just pretend I didn't remember last minute, and I'm gonna see if she's gonna say anything. The girl is gonna be upset because she's waiting for you to remember to say something, to take the first step. And then, so instead of just trying to see where things go, how things are going to happen on its own, communicate. Hey,
Wow.
sorry, let me talk. I forgot that we had this date scheduled at this nice restaurant for our anniversary. Unfortunately, I forgot. So let's see what we can do to fix. It's already too late, but let's do something else just to not let this like this date go by without us doing something special. Do you want to watch a movie with me? Do you want to go out and get some daiquiri, some ice cream? What do you want to do? Communication. Anything can be resolved with communication. And like many women, they will not even cause fights. They will be pretty understanding as long as the guy know how to open their mouth. One thing that I think is like sometimes guys, they're too much in their heads, in their mind,
Okay.
thinking too much and speaking less, too little,
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, communication.
I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Okay, that's powerful, man. That's the secret, right? Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, I believe that one of the reasons why many men and women have issues in cultivating, because we're going right directly into how to cultivate healthy relationships. One of the reasons why we have issues is because we have not been taught what a healthy relationship looks like. I mean, we may have some representations in our environment, like such as some family members. Sometimes we go to social media to see to get an idea, but we are not taught this, like how we go to school to learn
Yeah.
carpentry. There's no class. We don't go to classes for this unless you take a personal seminar. What would you
Right.
say? What would you say is, give me three things that would represent a healthy relationship?
Knowing how and when to apologize, knowing how and when to speak, and a lot of forgiveness. I can add one more thing too, patience, a lot of patience as well.
Wow. Honestly, I'm listening to you speak, right? You sound like you're a sage, like you do meditation and you in tune with spiritual knowledge
Um,
or something. Like,
No way. I cannot even do that. I come from my family is so noisy and full of energies like chaos all the time. So I don't have no type of peaceful environment outside or inside my head.
you could fool me. You could fool me. Wow. That's incredible. But I like the way you understand, the things of life, especially when it comes to uh at least you say three things: patience, being able to apologize and say you're sorry. Many people have a hard time doing it. Why do you think that a lot of people have a hard time apologizing?
Because of pride. Some people they just sometimes they may even recognize and understand that they're wrong, but it's hard for them to verbalize that. And one thing that I don't like as well is like sometimes people can even apologize, but they don't do that the right way. They will come and say, "Hey, sorry if I hurted you. Sorry if I did something wrong." Like, why are you apologizing if you say that you only apologize if there's something wrong? Something that's really interesting. I learned that on Instagram. Is the right way to apologize. If you see that you're wrong, just come and say, hey, sorry that I hurted you. Sorry that I did that wrong. Sorry for forgetting this. Sorry for saying something that may make you feel offended. I didn't mean to do that. That's easy. Just the right way to apologize.
Wow. Honestly, that's powerful. But a lot of people find it hard to forgive others because they find it hard to forgive themselves. You see, what I realize that as human beings, we go through life experiences, and sometimes we feel that if we say sorry, we are shrinking. And that's because a lack of understanding of self. When you're able to open yourself, you are able to
Mhm.
experience love because you can't experience love if you're not open. And I feel like when someone can't
Right,
apologize, they're closing themselves off to receiving and to even giving.
right.
So
That's true.
by apologizing, your heart opens up and you have more of a connectivity and it creates a greater bond. So that's very powerful. Now, this thing
Yeah,
on patience, I mean, how patient should one be? Because, in 2025, everybody is short of patience because technology is fast. If they go
of
to a
course.
store, yes, if they go to a store, they want it now. They want delivery now. So how can we cultivate patience in a relationship in such a fast-paced world that forces us or encourages us to, be
Yeah.
non-patient?
See, that's the funny thing because I'm not a very patient person as well. However, I think like it makes easier if we understand that we all have our own time for things, and patience also when it comes of like, okay, this person did something wrong, and I already say that I don't like how this person do that. I forgive the person, but then the person go and do that again. Like, we are all imperfect. We all have our own, do mistakes, have our own imperfections. So sometimes we just have to understand and try to analyze, is that person doing that intentionally, or it's just hard for this person to do differently? And actually be able to sit down and express yourself. You have to be patient to express, to explain how you feel, but also you have to be patient to see if the person will make some progress on changing their attitudes. It's not something that they can go to sleep and change that overnight. Is a whole process. Just like how, for example, when we start going to the gym, we don't become automatically gym lovers. We don't like, oh my gosh, I want to go to gym, I love to do this exercise. It's a whole progress, it's a whole process. You have to, get used to it, until you start doing some things, like automatically it's already easy for you to do that. So for human, changes are hard as well. In a relationship, changes will be hard. If it's something that you accepted during while you was getting to know the person, you see that trait, and you still accepted to get into a serious relationship with this person, you have to be patient to wait for the person to change the way they do things and respond to things, because that's how they came to you, you know. And patience with a lot of different things. That's just some of the examples. We need a lot of patience for so many things.
Powerful. Okay, but one thing I'll add into that too is that when it comes to cultivating healthy relationships, I believe that people must be able to match or pair up with the right people. Because I believe that there are
Mhm.
some people who are, like we would say, emotionally intelligent, more emotionally intelligent than others, and some who are less. So they lack that awareness. So sometimes, let's say, if you are an emotionally intelligent person, you pair up with a non-emotionally intelligent person or not so emotionally intelligent person, then it's going to be a disconnect because you're going to be aware of things that they are not. So you have two options.
Yeah,
Either you could use a lot of energy to educate them and try to get them to understand, or you could break that off and find someone who understands those values
exactly.
automatically, which makes things much easier. So I would add
Yeah.
that one of the ways to cultivate healthy relationship is find someone who has similar values to you. However,
Exactly. Because no one else knows you better than yourself. So like, you have to know what you want in the person that you're interested in, and the things that you don't want in this person as well. So if you choose, is your choice. You cannot act like this person forced you to choose them.
true. So one of the big things I realized that I know, when you meet someone, it's all chemistry. It's attraction at first sight. You feeling the energy, you're excited about the way they look, the way they make you feel. But I realize one of the reasons why many of us end up in relationships that become toxic is because we skip over the details. When I say the details, it's
Yeah.
almost like a business. When you are
Yeah.
hiring someone, right? If you are just excited about what you see in front of you without knowing some of their likes, their values, their past, their skill sets, is almost like going in blind, then expecting a different outcome when you didn't set in certain
Exactly.
things in foundation. So how can we have these tough conversations at the beginning without killing the vibe?
Well, when you are starting a relationship, I think is that, at least for me, is the phase that I love, when the person asks me questions, because I feel like, wow, he's so interested on me. He's asking me all these questions. He wants to know me. So I think in the very beginning, when you are getting to know the person, is the right time for you to ask any type of question you have. And I think not just asking questions, but observing. I don't know if in Bahamian culture is normal for you to already introduce the person that you are kind of like getting into the dating stage with. But here in Brazil, as soon as you are interested in someone, they already take cute to meet the whole family, to have a meal, a lunch on Sunday with the whole family and the
Powerful,
cousins and
man.
friends. So like you get to observe how the person interact with their parents, interact with kids, with elderly, how they are, like if they speak, if they talk too loud, if they always cutting people off, if they curse a lot, or if the type of subjects that they have is superficial, or they talk about things that like you look in a wife that when building a family, you know. So I think asking questions, observing, and taking the girl or the guy, but especially for the guys, to take the girls to dates and spend time, as much time as you can out, so you can be around the person and see certain traits that you would only see when you're already living with a person, and you see, I don't like the way that she doesn't have a good hygiene, or I don't like the way how, you know, this type of thing. So yeah, spend a lot of time with the person and observe and ask questions.
Okay, that's powerful. So, ladies and gentlemen, please take notes. Uh, you need to spend enough time and understand how that person flows through life because as a human being, there's so many dimensions of life. There's number one, your biology or your health. Then it has to do with your social. What type of person is that person when they're out and about with people? Are they shy? Are they introvert? Are they very balanced, loving person? Or are they angry and far removed? Is this person what are the person's values? Even what do they eat? What do they like to eat? Because diet plays a huge role in, how people
Yeah,
react and, so that's very, do you, okay, so question, while we're on health, cultivating healthy relationships, how important do you think is diet in a healthy relationship? Do you think it matters?
diet.
Yeah, what you eat, what you consume.
Well, I don't think it, I don't know if that would matter, as long as for example, let's say that you are dating a vegan and this person is a very strict vegan and it's forcing you through the dating stage to just eat vegan food. You are expecting to get married and having her cooking a whole piece of meat and eggs and chicken, like, you know, you already have seen right there how the person would be. So yeah.
That would be a disaster. You try to go to a restaurant and you won't think about enjoying like, oh, no, I can't eat that, I can't eat that, I can't eat that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why again I say that. See, I also have with my Meet Me 360, right? I have what we call matchmaking. I'm a matchmaker. So what I usually say is that when we match people, we match them on three dimensions. Number one, elemental nature. Basically, that's their personality type. Number two, their lifestyle. Does lifestyles have the match? Because if we have two people, the two different lifestyles, it's going to be very hard to stay
Yeah.
together longer. Like for instance, if you like to travel and I like to stay home, you think that relationship is going to work
Yeah.
pretty good?
No, no way.
Okay. Or if I like to work out at the gym and you like to stay home and watch Netflix, you think that relationship is going to work pretty good?
No, someone is gonna be going to gym alone and someone is gonna stay watching movies alone.
Okay, so basically, lifestyle is very important. Also, to communication line because everyone has a communication style. Some people are more, outspoken. Some people speak more of their actions. Some people don't say nothing at all. They just expect you to read their minds. But those are the three things we usually look at if you want to have a long-term relationship. It's powerful. All right, so as we about the land is playing, it's been phenomenal having you so far, Stephanie. You've been an amazing co-host, guest.
Yeah.
You know, um, we talk about cultures and languages. Now you've been to the Bahamas for 1 year and
Mhm.
4 months. I'd like to know through your eyes, what did you experience, and what do you think that we can improve on as a culture?
Oh, that's a hard question. That's a hard question. So I should start saying, unfortunately, I think I didn't experience as much as the Bahamas as I should. Because as soon as I reached, I was already working. I was working online, and then a few months later, I got a job in an office. So I was just working through the weekend. The weekends, I would have to try to see something to do. But so, like, I didn't get to travel to different islands
Wow.
and
Oh, you're
explore.
missing out. You're missing
That's
out, man. You never got to travel to Eleuthera or Exuma or Andros?
The
Oh my
most I
God.
went a boat was to Blue Lagoon.
Oh yeah, you missing out. You missing out, man. Man,
Yeah.
listen. I just
Yes,
came
I
back from
am.
Exuma. Mhm.
Yes, oh my gosh, but the beaches are so beautiful. I learned how to swim in Nassau because like the beaches, at least here in the state that I'm from, you cannot learn how to swim because you have to be fighting for your life. There's so huge waves one after the next, and like it's crazy to learn how to swim here. But in the Bahamas, like it's peaceful water, warm and it's clear. So it was very nice. But as you ask, improving as a culture, I can say there's a lot that can be improved as a culture. Starting with how can I say in a nice way? How pushy? I don't know if I can say like that, but guys are very persistent when it comes to flirting. And if they are interested in a girl, if they find a girl pretty, they make sure to show that, to verbalize that. And that's crazy coming from a country, a culture that guys they are not as like they are not like that. Like Bohemians, usually girls, Brazilian girls are the chasers. We with the Brazilian, I will not include myself because I like to be chased, but Brazilian girls they love to chase. They love to chase the guys. So
Wow.
I think the guys they if they like if they went to Nassau, they would find it pretty hard to get a girl because they used to being chased.
Wow.
And yeah, used to sometimes like used to be very uncomfortable. I already when I am alone outside, I put this very serious face, and here it works pretty well. When I have my serious face, guys, they don't even look twice at me. But in Asa, they would be saying all type of things, and I
Hey,
always used to say like, "Oh my gosh,
hey,
no!"
so
If I was back,
yeah, so they'll be like, hey baby, man, look your man do sweet,
yeah, all
eh?
type of things. As if they know me. Like, hey, gorgeous. Oh, and sometimes when I would be catching bus, the cars passing, saying things and blowing and saying, "Oh, which was waiting for me," and I was like, "No, come on, do better."
Wow, that's powerful. Wow, would you
Yes,
consider visiting Nassau again? The
of
Bahamas in general.
course.
Okay, okay.
The funny thing is that I was missing Brazil so much that I didn't notice how much I actually did like my lifestyle in Nassau. And now that I
Wow.
am back in Brazil, I be like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't come that soon. Like I should have enjoyed myself more, explored more, gone out. But the thing is that like I am I'm the type of person I love to go out at night. In Brazil, it's like 24 hours. You will
Wow.
always have something to do, and we have a pretty a wonderful like a very good nightlife when
Wow.
you from and when you step out you have a lot of different places to go, bars, our malls stay open until like 1 a.m. You have a lot of
Wow.
different activities through the week and in the weekends. And in Nassau, like I would have to be bar hopping, looking for bars to be hopping on and places because through the week would be empty. It
Yep.
is through the week that I want to have fun because like I'm working, so I want to actually enjoy life and feel
Wow.
good for the next day to be inside the office, not in the weekends. The weekend,
Okay. Understood. Understood. That's
yeah,
powerful. That's powerful. All right. So as
yeah,
we land, again, amazing content, amazing point of views. I like that. That's the content that brings life because I could feel the continuity in what you're saying. And you have such a lot of knowledge for a 22-year-old man, a young adult, that's pretty good. So
yeah.
lastly, when it comes to relationships, how should men and women approach relationships in 2025 to get the best results? Because we realize that a lot of relationships ain't really built on, like in today's society, aren't being built on anything, real or solid. What do you think is we should pay attention to in 2025 when it comes to building a meaningful relationship? Something that's benefiting you, your partner, and making your life better.
Yeah, I think you should look if the person is actually do want to have meaningful relationship, long lasting relationship, because I think our society nowadays is like you just start dating just to date. You don't start dating anymore to start a family.
True.
That's the thing. So how do you want to have meaningful relationships if you are not looking for people who want to build a family or who are ready to build a family? Because that's the difference. Like you can have someone who in 3 months of dating we already proposed to you, but the person is not ready to be a husband, is not ready to be a father. So you are gonna be frustrated because you skipped some stages and you wasn't looking in the right place for the right person.
Wow. It's powerful. So we got to be up front in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. We got to describe exactly what we're looking for because we are all of us in different stages of our lives. All of us have different wants, and you got to be able to communicate that, or else
Yeah.
you'll continue getting the things that you don't want. All right, Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know how they could get how people could get some coaching, how the ladies could get some coaching calls with you to be able to become a better at relationships and become better women. Let them know where they could find you.
You're the best person for that. I
Was that
have to grow a little more. I have to grow a little bit more to start writing some books, giving advices for for people
powerful?
and relationships. Have a no, I
Wow,
still have a lot to grow.
excellent. Anyway, ladies and
Is
gentlemen, I'd
that
like to
thing
thank.
is
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
no, is that thing is easy to say, but it's hard to apply, you
Oh,
know?
I agree. I agree. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank Stephanie so much for being on our show. Amazing content. Like, subscribe, share, wherever, and see you next time on the Meet Me 360 podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.